Hello, Senanu and everyone who'd be hearing this.
Yes.
my, my name is Marie-Claire Uwamahoro Nyinawumuntu, also known as Mimi from family and closest friends. I'm originally from Rwanda in Africa, and I also for now live in Scotland in Edinburgh, where I've been living for the last 16 years. I am married and I have two children who are 13, two daughters who are 13 and 9 years old.
Wow.
And my professional, I am a civil engineer. So currently my role is being a senior engineer in Sutton, Scotland, where I'm in charge of the leading on delivery of new routes and improving infrastructure on a national cycle network or other road network. I've been working in Scotland since 2007 in civil engineering industry. I started as a graduate, and today, like I say, I'm a senior engineer, but also project director of some on the project on a national cycle network, or project managing some of the project, and also having some line management responsibilities.
Okay.
Yes, and in my work, I work with communities, different communities, and the job gives me opportunity also to reach out to young people through STEM activities. This is one of a passion of mine. One thing also I would like to talk about my life. I'm also a published poet. And if I may say, that's how I came across you, where we published through the Funfu Neku Sync.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So the next question I'd like to ask is, how did you end up in Scotland? From
Oh,
yeah.
right. So I came in Scotland actually to study.
Mm.
So I got an opportunity to do my master's. So it was in 2005 in September, and I've been working with Kigali City Council in Rwanda because I finished my degree in Rwanda. So I did my 5 years of civil engineering and environmental technology degree in Rwanda. And I was lucky to get a job straight away with the Kigali City Council. While I've been working there for a year, I got an opportunity to come and to study. So I studied for a year, my master's in Heriot-Watt University, and I was on course for civil engineering and construction management. And I graduated in November 2006. So I've got there in September, actually, 2005. So next week on Tuesday, I would have been here for 16 years in Scotland.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you.
That's amazing. So, whilst you moved from Rwanda, obviously you grew up in Rwanda, you knew it as your home,
Yeah.
and you suddenly moved to Scotland, somewhere that's so, vastly different, almost seemingly the opposite of Rwanda.
Yeah.
Um, I'm sure you would have noticed some things in terms of identity, and
Yeah.
all the whiles living here, and from when you moved until now, how would you categorize your identity whilst living in Scotland?
Hmm. Right. You're right. Coming to Scotland, leaving Rwanda, coming to Scotland was really, there was a culture shock.
Yeah, yeah,
And and obviously the way we live life is totally different. And also our values are different, but some are actually are shared. So I see myself actually in a broad way. I see myself as a citizen of the world, but mostly, obviously, of Rwandan origin, and also having a UK nationality. So I see myself in both because I have lots of values from my origin as a Rwandan that make me who I am today, and I keep on. I'm still holding.
yeah,
And they help me to explore and go through life smoothly. And at the same time, over the 16 years, as you can imagine, I've taken a lot of what I would call Scottish value. But because also we have more than just the Scottish in the UK, it's a multicultural society. So I feel like I'm almost a result of all the influences I've had throughout. I'm open, so I like to take on board lots of view of the world. So I see my identity as a result of all that, my African heritage culture as a Rwandan, but also as someone who has lived in Scotland. That also because my adulthood life, I've mostly lived in Scotland. My both daughters were born here, which means they're Scottish, Rwandan Scottish.
Yes.
So I really see for me as a result of both. And they are equally important to me because they make me who, I can't remove one or the other. So it makes me who I am today.
Yes. That's actually such a very profound outlook on how, on your identity and how you are.
Thank you.
I'm sure I'm sure whilst you were working and whilst you were looking for work, and also, how you were raising your children, with both Rwandan and Scottish influences. How would you say that your experiences in Scotland and Rwanda, how would you say they inform your work and your life and what you do today?
Okay, that's a very good question. But hopefully my answer will live up to the question. Right. It's really almost calls for a bit of self-reflection, if I would say.
Yes.
One of the things I think when I think about my experience is have given me another perspective. When you have been living most of your life in one culture, in one society, you have mostly one view, not one view, but your view of the world has certain boundaries, but when you come to another place, then you realize actually there are certain things you believed before that might be different. So some values that I had in Rwanda might be seen here as maybe they don't hold the same values. At the same time, the values in Scotland might be different from Rwandan values. But for me, it has given me to be more open. More open about experiences I get. It has also increased my confidence in my abilities. Anyone, if you ask anyone who has left their country of origin to go set up a home or a life in another country, it takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of actually being self-conscious, to realize about the values you had or the abilities you had you never knew you had. So that really has given me increased confidence in who I am as a person, which helps me to do my work. I've managed to forge friendships, through the work I do, with my colleagues or partners I work with. There is also the places I've been, events I've attended, school runs where I meet other parents, learning about a new language. Or I must say, in Rwanda, so when I left Rwanda, I was speaking 3 languages. So in Rwanda, I was speaking Rwanda. I also speak French. But I went to the English university, which means I was speaking English, but really not properly practical.
I was the same. I was speaking the Queen's English. So when, when we moved here and it was Scottish English, you're like, oh no, I have to learn a new language. Really.
That is very funny and it's very true because I remember coming here. So we've been learning actually at my university because we're coming from a French actually program to the university learning only English. So we did what we call crash program of English, and the books we were using was from Cambridge University. You're right. So when I got in Scotland, I was like, what's going on here?
I thought I learned English.
I can't relate to this, but also when you're in a place where you have to just speak the language. So that's where now I feel like my, English was my third language, but I don't see it as a third language, probably a second, and in some instance, actually first language, whereby some actually when I'm speaking, sometimes there are certain circumstances where I feel like a certain word in Kinyarwanda translates exactly what I want to say.
Yes. Yeah.
Or English is the best, way to express myself in certain circumstances. So so it's almost like being in Scotland have also given me that level of having the experience and to understand language is not the words. It's much more. It's the people, it's the culture, it's the way people think. And that's really has given me that perspective. Another thing I've got from that perspective is also learning, being open to learn. Here they say every day is school day. And this is one of the things I've taken on board, and that is one of the most important things when you are moving from one place to another. Not only for us living from one place to another, I think for everyone, we should be open to learn. So certainly it has opened my views of the world, and to understand that I have some strengths and some skills that I am happy, and gifts that the world is benefiting from me. But at the same time, there are lots of other gifts in other places like Scotland that I am taking from the people and the places that makes me who I am. Yeah.
Exactly. That was a very, very good answer. Thank you very much. So you said that you were a published poet, and yes, and obviously we're published together. So the book the poetry that you were writing and the subject matter of the book itself, prompted for a lot of reflection, and I'd like to ask, like, how did you compile all the things you've experienced, both from Rwanda to Scotland, all the learning every day. How did you compile all those experiences to put into words, to share with the world? How did those feelings, thoughts, and experiences, how did they, impact you, and how did they form your reflection into your words?
Okay. So I have to go back to when did I actually start to make poems and why. One of the things I probably didn't share before in other question is I am actually, as a part of my personal experience, I am a survivor of the genocide against the Tutsis in Rwanda. It's a sad experience because many members of my family, including my dad and my sister, were killed during the genocide. My two grandparents and many other people of the extended family. And as a result, that was 1994. I was a teenager. And I had never made poems before that time. So my first poem I made was in October, after the aftermath of the genocide that started in April, finished in July in 1994. I was really, as you can imagine, my whole world has really been destroyed. And I didn't know what to do, I guess. So while I was going through it, the first time I made a poem was for my dad, and it was in October 94. And I didn't know it was a poem. So I just could feel the words coming to me when I was sleeping. I was about to sleep, and I remember feeling the feeling to put them into the writing. I wrote them. And at the time, since then, poetry has been a tool that I've been really using to express my emotions. So at the time, it was sad emotions. And also I was really lost. And throughout my life, I remember even as a teenager going to school, I remember making poems for my friends who have had, heartbroken, through teenager experiences. I've used it also to express any emotions where I'm really happy about something, where I graduated, or now I also use it for my kids.
Yeah.
I've used it, so you've met them
Yeah.
as well. And that's how actually our first connection is, because I met your uncle at the Holocaust Memorial Day when my kids were reciting a poem in Glasgow. Yes, yeah. So I use poetry as a tool to help me deal with my own emotions, but also for friends and family. I feel like I don't keep everything inside and feel like I bottle everything inside. No, the poetry helps me to express things I otherwise would feel difficult to say in everyday life. But only I think has opened to me also to, sometimes if I speak to someone, I can tell how they feel.
Yeah.
The way they speak through a conversation. And some people even don't know how to express how they feel. So the poetry has allowed me actually sometimes to put other people's feelings and thought and emotions into writing. And so I've done it where I shared poems in my workplace, you know, or even on public platforms, you know, like I say in Holocaust Memorial Day, or I even shared in different platforms. But for me, poetry, I like how it makes me connect with other people. It's almost like it's the same understanding of how we feel, how we see the world. But also it has been a tool I've used to almost fight against discrimination. You know, my experience of being a survivor in Rwanda and coming here in Scotland, where at few times I've experienced racism myself, has almost given me a view to realize actually, eventually everyone in the world wants to be happy. We want a fulfilling life. But at the same time, I don't know, maybe some people feel threatened and they go the wrong way about it, where they might feel hatred towards the people who don't look like them, who don't think like them. There's lots of things going on there. But for me, I also use poetry as a teaching tool, educating tool, to tell people, look, I've experienced this, I've been there. No one as a human being should experience that. Can we learn from what happened in Rwanda or anywhere around the world to realize that we eventually all want a fulfilling and a happy life? Let's make each other space okay, so that we don't hurt each other. Yeah, so poetry has helped me with that.
That was a better answer than what my question even prompted. Thank you.
Thank you, by a long one probably.
I really liked how you use your words as a way to open yourself up, to get other people to open themselves up to you. It's very it creates a space of trust. It creates a space of openness for people to feel comfortable to actually come to you and and share their emotions, and I think what you're doing along with your engineering work and your sustenance work, I feel like we need more people that are willing to open themselves up, to create that connection. So it was a very profound answer, so thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, there's something you touched in there, probably I didn't say, that is very important. Poetry really helps me, or everyone who does it, like yourself, to connect beyond ourselves, but with anyone we meet.
Exactly. So moving on from that, and out of all your work and all the extracurricular activities you've done, poetry, your engineering work, and all the other things that have come out of it, what would you say is your most significant contribution to Scottish society today? It doesn't really have to be to Scottish society specifically. It can be an achievement that you're extremely happy or proud about, and just one of the most significant contributions you feel is very important to you.
Right. That is really hard to so for me, I see my life journey being in itself my contribution to the world. It's really hard to pick one particular thing to say I am most proud to be the works I do as a civil engineer or in poetry or anything. For me, it's I think it's how do I put this? I was thinking more obviously in where I am today. So whether it's Scotland or Rwanda. So in Rwanda, obviously I was born there.
Yeah.
But in terms of Scotland, I made a conscious decision to be here, to work here. So I feel the most significant contribution that we are having is to be here, contribute to this lovely country, whether it's the work I do through civil engineering or being involved in with young people in STEM activities or sharing my poetry. The experience of being in a certain place to share with other people who I am and what I do, it's for me, it's that journey to be a benefit to where I am is my biggest significant contribution. And I wouldn't say it's just me, it's also not only me, I made that decision, but also my family made it possible for me to be here. So that's a joint contribution we're doing to this country. We could be anywhere in the world, but we're in Scotland. So I think, so for me, so being, I guess, a professional, you're right? So being a professional to be able to express myself through the works I do, either in civil engineering or as a poet. And also, I love being a mom. I don't know if I would call it an achievement, but this is something I naturally love to do. And it gives me extra joy in my life and significance to my life as well. So it's really a result of all of that rather than just one thing. Thank you.
You just encapsulated basically that you value how your life impacts others, and how you use your life and your life's work to, create a better space for the people around you and the people you connect with. So,
that's actually very summarized. Right, because it could be a conversation with a colleague. It could be a meeting with a partner. Like I say, it could be who I touch through my poetry. So it's really hard to choose. It's one thing.
Exactly.
I guess also I love to be with people. So connecting with people probably into what I do and who I am. Thank you for having me in this conversation. It's really, and also thank you for this opportunity to be here because I feel like it's very important to have more voices so people can get to know different type of people and the contribution we're making to this place we've made our home. And I wish you all the best with everything. Thank you.